Welcome back to Tea Time with Amanda Prochaska. I'm so happy that you're back. Today, we are going to be talking about the greatest gifts you can give your team. As we're going through the holiday season right now, it's a great time to reflect on how are you doing as a leader and what are those gifts that you can give your team. So let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, here we go. Tea of the day, just so you guys know, it's a vanilla cinnamon, and I'm full of joy. We're talking about gift giving, and the gift of joy is just so prevalent in my life. And I hope that you have it in your life, and you have some great tea with you or some great coffee. And we can spend the next several minutes together talking about the greatest gifts that you can give your team. So there are 5 points today that I would like to go through with you. 5 different gifts that you can give your team when it comes to your leadership, how you can be developing them, etc. And I might have a couple of little bonus thoughts here along the way too. So number 1, time to think. And I know this might sound kind of counterproductive. You have a lot, I'm sure, on each of your team members' plates. There's a lot going on. But here's a key to a high-performing team. Everyone needs to have time to think, whether they need to process what has happened in the past or think strategically about what they need to be doing in the future. They need time to reflect on things that they're doing well, things that they're not doing well. And so giving your team time to think is a critical, important gift that you can give your team. Now, here's what it looks like for me. So every Friday, I block my calendar, and that is my time to not only get some things wrapped up for the week and plan for the coming week, but it's also a time to reflect and to think about how things are going within my team, within my business, within my customers, and to really think strategically about what's up next. Like, what problem am I solving? How can we do things better? And so that time is really valuable to me. Like and within the company, we're trying to have less and less meetings on Fridays so we can have that time to think. Now, when I was in corporate several years ago, I would actually block out an hour of my time each day because things were moving so fast and every day was so different that I needed that time to think every day. And it was usually in the afternoon, but sometimes I actually moved it to first thing in the morning, which was great to kind of prepare my day. But I would think about what's best for your team, or at least if you don't want to set that up for the entire team and tell them what time to do it, you don't have to go to that extent. But I would highly encourage your team members and to have this conversation with your team members about how are they blocking out time to think. And that goes all the way through, even if they're processing purchase orders, if they're a tactical, more of a tactical side of procurement, they still need time to think. Like, there are things that they are doing in their day to day that could be improved upon if they just had a moment to reflect on how things are going. So, gift number 1, give your team time to think. Okay, gift number 2, and this one seems pretty logical, but I see so often in my clients that this does not happen, especially when there's a big change initiative going on. And that is setting a clear vision for your team. And it's both quantitative and qualitative. And the reason why we do that is because some people, if you think about meeting your audience where they are, right? Some people love numbers, right? They're like, hey, this next year, we're going to go crazy and beat our targets because they're measurable and I know exactly what they are, right? Those people love the tangible. Like they just love to know what they're trying to go after because they can clearly see it and clearly calculate it and move forward from there. There are also those people who love the story, right? They love the feeling and the emotion that they get from a well thought through vision. And I am not talking about a vision statement. So nobody get me wrong here. Like, I don't want you running out and creating a vision statement, because those are most of the time worthless and very, very run on sentence. So don't do it that way, but have a conversation with your team about, geez, guys, this is what we need to achieve this year. And this is how we're going to measure it, but this is the story around it, and this is the why, and this is the emotional impact that we are that you're going to give because of this story that you're telling around your vision. And this could be for next year, it could be a 3 to 5 year vision, whatever that might be, but you really want to meet people where they are, both for their numbers and that kind of more emotional reaction through a story. And sometimes as leaders, and I know I do this all the time, and my team has let me know this, but sometimes we get so caught up that we think that our teams know the vision when we might have told them that in the past. But if it's a vision that's going to take several years to accomplish, or even just through the year, the vision has to be recommunicated and really becomes that foundation of everything that you do within your day-to-day. So if you're having a team meeting, if you're having an all hands, if you're having just one-on-one conversations with your team, tying it back to the vision over and over and over again is going to help align your team. It's going to help remind them of what that emotional reaction was, or what the numbers are, and it really just helps ground everyone through the good times and the not so good times that you're going to experience over the lifetime of that vision. So that is number 2. Please make sure you give that gift to your team of setting a clear vision, and not only setting it and forgetting it like most of us do, but setting it and reiterating it at every opportunity to make sure that your team really resonates with it, they remember it, they have deeply embedded it into their work. So that's gift number 2. Gift number 3, because I do not like to be negative a lot, but I'm going to say this in a very positive light, I hope, but it's lifting the anchors. And what do I mean by that? If you're trying to develop a high performing team and you're allowing people to be on the team who are not high performing, and you're not doing anything about it, that is really, really hard for the high performing members, because they feel like they're pouring their heart and soul into this work. They are doing everything they can to be high achieving. Yet they look around them and they're like, well, Jane over there, or Joe over there, or whomever is not pulling their weight. And it gets really, really frustrating at the end of the day. And it doesn't help you achieve your vision and your goals, etc. So here's the thing about poor performing, or what I'm calling the anchors within your organization, is that they're probably not happy. They probably don't like to be underperforming. They probably don't like to have that feeling like everyone else is achieving more, or getting the spotlight, or whatever. And what I've learned over building out my teams of my own in corporate and in my my new company, Wonder Services, is that the best gift you can give those people is to give them the feedback so they have the opportunity to improve. But B, if they can't, it's just not a right fit. It's not a right fit for them. It's not a right fit for you. And letting those people linger is not a good thing for anyone. Those people and you and your team. So I had an example of this in my corporate career where I was new to the company. A bunch of the leaders were also new to the company, and there were a couple of people who had a lot of history with the company. They had a perspective of what had been, but they were also a handful of them, not all of them, but a handful of them were poor performing. And so the leader at the time, and actually myself included, decided to keep those people, even though they were underperforming, keep them on the team because they had perspective. Well, we ended up keeping him on the team for 3 years for that perspective. And it's like, well, looking back on it, I think it was more harmful for the individual, right? Because they were in a role for 3 years that they weren't enjoying, they weren't performing well in, and they were really struggling each and every day. And then I look around my team, I was building a high performing team. And gosh, the people on my team were just absolutely beautiful people. And yet we were keeping a handful of people around for their perspective. When after a year in the company, I had perspective. I had a lot of perspective on where we've been and where we're going. Maybe not all of the history, but definitely enough to be able to navigate. So, as a leader, when you're thinking about this gift, it truly is a gift to really lift those anchors, um, find them other opportunities within the company, give them the gift of feedback, try to help develop them. But if it just doesn't work out, don't hold on to those people because you have some sort of fear of that confrontation or an excuse like I did, that I thought that I needed them, which was actually really selfish if you look at it that way, versus making sure that they could get into a better role that might fit their skill set more effectively. And then that would have helped the team overall. So, gift number 3, it's a tough one, is lifting those anchors, but it is one of those things that if you can do it and do it well and have a heart of love and feedback and development, you'll do it in the right way and your team will be happier, that individual will be happier, and then you can go find talent that's maybe a better fit for that particular role. So tough one, granted. Number 3, lifting the anchors. Okay, number 4 is creating rhythm. And there's such joy. There's such joy in rhythm. We find that in our day-to-day lives. We love music. We love the repetitive nature of things. And what I have found in corporate is that there's a complete lack of rhythm. And rhythm is fun. Like you can get into the groove, you can get into the zone, and you hear athletes talk about that all the time. I watch my kids and their dance, just love rhythm, right? It's what creates a beautiful ballet or a lyrical performance or even hip hop. So creating rhythm, I've only been in corporate once, in one corporation that actually had a rhythm. And it was all around, when, as an organization, do we do the same things? So, for instance, as a company or as an organization, you can say, we're all having our one-on-ones on Tuesdays. And we are going to always have our reporting of all of our metrics, and any reporting that we want to do, any roll-ups of numbers, that's going to happen every Friday. And every Monday afternoon is for self-development. Every Friday morning is for thinking. And you can set a cadence so everyone is kind of in rhythm with each other. The worst thing, and I do this to myself all the time, okay, is when you go from, like in my world right now, I go from a sales meeting to a one-on-one to an all hands to a partnership meeting, all within a matter of 4 to 5 hours, which means I don't have any time to prepare. It's a shift of my mindset to get into the right mode around what I'm talking about, how I'm interacting, etc. Instead of, like, if you had all of your one-on-ones on Tuesday morning, you can get into the rhythm of, okay, I'm talking about my development of my team and how my team members are doing and how we're performing against goals. And then maybe Wednesdays is when you meet with all of your stakeholders so you can talk about their goals and their strategies and how procurement's going to enable that. So if you can, a huge gift that you can give to your team is creating a rhythm And maybe you can even do that beyond your team. Like you can inspire stakeholders to do the same thing or your suppliers to do the same thing. And it really creates a bit more expectation within the work. It doesn't feel as reactive. People know what you're doing day in and day out and when you might be available to do certain things. That rhythm is a huge, huge gift that you could give your team to create a little bit more joy and to maybe, I don't know, have them all tap dancing together. So hope you can do the gift number 4 in 2024, and that is the gift of rhythm. And number 5, and it might actually kind of be a little bit of a wrap up of what I've been talking about thus far. So, and come here. Sorry, I'm going to take a pause really quickly because my dog Copper is in my I guess coworker, if I can call him that, and he's scratching at my door right now. So let's hey Copper, I'm on video. You good? All right. All right. So sorry for that little pause. Number five gift for your team, and that is to care for their mental well-being. And this is something that is so needed, particularly within procurement. And your care for mental well-being could be taking a moment to ask your team members how they're doing. And I know you guys all do that, but it's also time to think, setting a clear vision, lifting the anchors, creating a rhythm, and making sure that, yes, the work is important, but if your people are not feeling well mentally, they don't feel well equipped, they don't understand what's going on, there's a lack of communication, lack of clarity of expectations, whatever it might be, or they just feel like there's too much to get done and I don't have a life anymore, they're not going to produce what you want. They're not going to be able to be happy and fulfilled and innovative and strategic if they're not feeling well. So I hear it all the time within procurement. People are completely overwhelmed, completely burnt out. And as a leader, you might be too, right? So you need to really think about, how are you feeling? How are you going to set boundaries next year? How are you going to share your love and your development so that your team can feel that too? It's a huge gift to care about your team's mental well-being and to make sure that you're caring about it for yourself too. And if it's an extreme case, get the help that you need. If community tapping into a community helps, go develop a community or go become a part of a community, and make sure that you're really truly taking care of your mental game. Because if you don't have your mental game, if you don't have your physical game, you're not going to show up to be the best that you can be. And procurement needs that from you. Your team needs that from you. And the communities around us need that from all of us. So number 5 is a big encompassing one, but caring for your team's mental health is a huge gift that you could give them for 2024. Now, couple of bonuses, just to throw them out there. Make sure you're having fun. Like, take a moment throughout the day to have a little fun, to laugh, to enjoy each other's company, to reflect on an experience that you had that's super funny, or share a funny, I don't know, GIF on your chat or whatever it might be. It is so forgotten sometimes. We get in the groove and we get so focused and all of that we forget to have a little laughter and a little bit of fun. So even in your team meetings, how are you creating some fun in your team meetings so you can really energize people? And energy is everything, right? Energy is what moves us forward, and it's fun has a lot to do with that. So make sure that you're doing that. And then I guess at the end of the day, there's a real big gift that you could be giving to your team. I think about it in 2 ways. make sure that they're part of a community. It could be a community that you have internally. It could be a community that they find on LinkedIn. It could be a community of people that are in the profession on LinkedIn. I don't care where it is, but having a community around you helps you so much. And as a leader, you can help your team members find that community that they can be in. And then lastly, I think it's something to consider is career path and creating that hope within the team. And one of the services that we have within Wonder Services that we started offering this year, and we've had so much success with it. And I think it creates that hope within teams is offering a functional admin service to our customers. And the reason why we did that, A, we were being asked for it, but B, it was because we saw all these functional admins within procurement. And these are people that run the systems that you are deploying, right? So they're very technical people, but they also understand procurement and procurement process and what we're trying to achieve. And they have a level of customer service qualities where they can handhold and train and explain complex system processes in a very simple way. It's a very unique skill set. And what we saw within the organizations is that those functional admins didn't really have much of a career path within procurement. It's a very unique skill set, and we saw high turnover rates within those functional admins, and people that they were happy with what they were doing, but there was a lack of hope because they didn't know where they wanted to go next. So we don't want anyone in that situation. We want people to really thrive and have hope in their next steps and where they want to go, even if it's outside of the company or outside of the department. So to meet the need of the client and then also to meet the need of the functional admins themselves, we decided to start offering functional admins for our clients. So that includes, like, the most common one is functional admin support for Coupa. If you're on Coupa, we have a functional admin that can do all of your system support, upgrades, training, etc. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and contact us at hello@wonderservices.net. Cannot wait to hear from you if you have that need. And maybe the person that's in that role, or maybe you don't have that role today, but we wanted to be able to create hope within your organizations and as a gift to you. So with that said, those are 5 different gifts that you can give your team as a leader, plus some bonuses here along the way. I hope you enjoyed today and your glass of tea or your coffee, and that you have some joy when you think about the gifts that you can give your team. I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see each other next time. Cheers.